Hello everyone, welcome to today's news starter. Let's begin with a prelims practice question. So take a look at this question. These kind of questions you can always expect when it comes to prelims. Anything related to a virus or a bacteria or any particular infectious disease, non-communicable disease, etc. Are generally a favorite topic for UPSC. So you need to know about hepatitis also because India is known infamously for very high number of hepatitis patients. Hepatitis is the leading cause of infectious deaths globally. So generally they have given three statements here and they are asking how many of the above. I'm sorry, it's not how many, it's which among the above is correct. So specifically we need to know which among this is correct and which of them are wrong. Hepatitis is a leading cause of infectious death globally. So this is a very extreme statement. Even if you know about it or if you do not know about it, generally as a person who is appearing for UPSC exam, you should know very extreme statements are generally incorrect. So hepatitis is not the leading cause of infectious death, it is tuberculosis. India accounts for the highest burden of hepatitis globally is also incorrect, it is China. Hepatitis is an inflammation of the liver. Hepatitis is related to liver, so this is right. That is caused by a variety of infections. So this is also right because we have hepatitis A till hepatitis E. Five different varieties are there. And non-infectious hepatitis can also happen. Yes, when you have a lot of alcohol, your liver will get spoiled. You will get liver cirrhosis and hepatitis. So this is the right option. Let's start with the first topic of the day. Asset disclosure as per Representation of People Act 1951. So anything related to election is very important. We have been discussing things regularly related to elections. If you see the previous news starters, you will get to know one by one each and every day. I'm giving something related to the elections because it is very important for the examination. Section 125A of the Representation of People Act 1951, it tells what are all the provisions or what are all the punishment one will get if he has not disclosed the assets as required by the election commission if he is a candidate. So if I'm contesting in an election, I should be disclosing whatever assets I'm having so that people will know whether what kind of asset I'm having, whether I'm a rich person, whether I'm a poor person. After 5 years, how much my assets have increased or has it decreased? So these kind of things we will get to know. So it prescribes a 6-month prison term or a fine or both for any candidate who is failing to disclose the required information or if he gives a false information. Any omission or false information could result in challenging his candidature. And when it comes to election, let it be the legislative election of the state or the center, we will challenge such elections only in High Court. We don't go directly to the Supreme Court. It will be challenged in the High Court. Anything related to election. Supreme Court said that there was no need for a candidate to lay bare his entire life. So recently, in 2024, they gave a verdict in which they told that a person who is standing in the election do not have to disclose each and everything. If there is something which is very small, which is not much important for someone to know, you don't have to tell about it. So each and every detail is not required, but if it is something significant, then it should be shown. So they said that every person who is contesting in the election too has a right to privacy from the voters. So asset disclosure provision should be known. They need to disclose the details. If they are not disclosing, they can get either 6 months prison term or a fine or both, depending on the seriousness of the case. And apart from that, if a person gets elected and if it is found that he is not disclosed his assets properly, then they can challenge his candidature, and such a challenge will be done in the High Court only. Hepatitis in India. So why we are studying about hepatitis? Because of World Health Organization's Global Hepatitis Report of 2024. This point is also very important. Which organization releases the Global Hepatitis Report? It is released by the World Health Organization. So what is India's situation? It has told that India accounts for 11.6% of total viral hepatitis disease burden of the globe in 2022, 11.6%. This is his second leading infectious cause of death. First is tuberculosis, which we have already discussed. Hepatitis, what exactly it is? It is an inflammation of the liver. Liver will inflame. Liver helps in digestion. Liver helps in purification of your blood. If it inflames, if it doesn't work properly, then you will be affected. So there are totally 5 different types of hepatitis. So this is again very important because you might get question. It's very easy to make people get people confused about the types of hepatitis. So only some basic information we need to know. We don't have to get into the details. That's not required. We have totally 5 different types, of which B and C. B and C lead to chronic disease. And together, these are the most common causes of liver cirrhosis, liver cancer, and viral hepatitis related death. A and D and E are normal. Non-infectious form, what are all the non-infectious forms of hepatitis? When you have too much of alcohol, we get a disease called as alcoholic liver disease, fatty liver disease, and there is something else known as non-alcoholic fatty disease also. This happens when you are having contaminated water, contaminated food, um, unclean life habitats, etc. So these kind of things lead to hepatitis. Transplantation of Human Organs and Tissue Act passed in 1994. We need to know the basics only. We don't have to get into the details. So what exactly this act provides? It provides for regulation of removal, storage, and transplantation of human organs and tissues also. Human organs and tissues when someone is donating the organs. In such case, how will you remove it? How will you store it? And how to transplant it to another person? Everything is provided in the act. Details are provided. And it is for therapeutic purpose and the most important reason why it was framed is to prevent commercial dealings in human organs. We cannot sell it. We cannot make a business out of it. That is totally illegal. This is something which you do because it is the best thing to do. It is a charity. You cannot do it as a business. The subject of artificial organs is not regulated. So this point is important. If in a laboratory, if someone is manufacturing a disease, an organ, artificial liver, artificial kidney, etc., robotics. So in such case, this legislation will not be applying. And they have also implemented National Organ Transplant Program to establish a network of organs and tissue transplant organizations. So let's say all over the country, there are multiple different transplant organizations functioning separately. Now the central government has made a separate organization which is called as National Organ Transplant Program. So this program will have link with all the different organizations. They will link all the different organizations at national, regional, state level, so that whenever some person from, let's say, Karnataka needs a certain organ from anywhere of the country, so this National Organ Transplantation Program will identify if such organ is available with some other organization from some other part of the country, and they will help in getting it. So this is the basic idea. And what are the other things which the National or Organ Transplant Program does? It links transplant and retrieval hospitals and tissue banks, maintains a national registry of organ and donors, recipients, etc., so that there will be a proper account of everything. So what are all the most important things? First thing, organ donation, tissue donation cannot be a business. It will be donation only. And for artificial organs or tissues, there is no regulation as of now. The central government has framed the National Organ Transplant Program. This program will link different organizations from all over the country. It will maintain a proper registry and it will help in linking every organization from national to regional to state level. So these are all the important points you need to know. One important point for your mains examination, when we talk about the space, there is this theory that the universe keeps expanding. From the time of the Big Bang, it has been expanding. So what is the recent evidence about it? To when we say such things, what we do is we study the cosmic microwave background. What is the cosmic microwave background? When the Big Bang happened, too much of energy got released, too much of light energy got released. Light is made of photons, small particles called as photons. These photons, which was emitted at the time of the Big Bang, is still going all over the universe. Even it exists even today. So this is what we call as cosmic microwave background. When you study about the cosmic microwave background, you will get to know the reality about the universe to a greater extent. So what the scientists did is they studied the temperature of the cosmic microwave background, and they studied the particle large scale properties of such photons. And what they found is there is no curvature. There is complete absence of curvature, means they are just traveling in a straight line. So if you study the photons, we can identify that they are not changing their direction or anything. They are just moving in a straight line. So from the beginning, if they are just moving in a straight line, that means they are not contracting. If things are contracting, then that means they cannot move in a straight line. If they contract, they will change their direction. But if they are expanding, that means they move in the straight direction. So this is the best evidence that universe is still expanding. So they also identify that the universe is flat in nature. For prelims, these kind of small facts and details always is important. It is mostly in basic details or basic facts students will do mistakes. Cryogenics is a very important topic in science and technology because we use the cryogenic fuels in space. So we need to know about it. What exactly is cryogenic? The materials at a temperature less than 153 degrees Celsius. Below 153 degrees Celsius is called as cryogenic material. Below 153 degrees Celsius, how things react is what we call as cryogenics. So they deal with the thermal condition of gases. Generally, when we talk about cryogenics, we talk about liquid hydrogen, liquid nitrogen, sometimes liquid helium, liquid oxygen also. So they are in a liquid state at below 150 degrees Celsius. Once it crosses that, what will happen? They will become gaseous. They will disappear. So when they are in the form of a in the cryogenic form, their properties also is different. So this field typically uses helium, nitrogen as cryogenic fluid. Nitrogen has a boiling point of negative 196 degree. Nitrogen's boiling point is negative 196 degree. So once it crosses minus 196, from liquid state it becomes vapor state. It will completely escape. For helium it is minus 269, and in the same way for hydrogen and oxygen also it is different. We don't need to remember the points here. I mean, we don't have to remember the numbers here, but one thing we need to know is their boiling point is extremely low, right? So even in such a low temperature, there is a high chance they will become unstable and disappear. So this is why what we do is we store them in vacuum flasks. We store them in vacuum flasks so that they will not disappear. They can be stored at the lowest temperature as possible. Now, these are the basics of cryogenics. Why we study about it? Because it is used. Where hydrogen is used as a rocket fuel because it can be used as a liquid, and cryogenic hydrogen, cryogenic oxygen power the ISRO's GS, that is Geosynchronous Launch Vehicle Mark III. At present, we are using Geosynchronous Launch Vehicle Mark III. It has three stages. The first stage is solid, second stage is liquid, and the final stage is cryogenic. So this cryogenic fuel is being used in geosynchronous launch vehicle. That is something which we need to know. So these are all the most important points which you should be knowing from today's newspaper. So read the newspaper also, try to link the newses and remember it very well. It will be helpful. So that will be all for today. All the best. Let's meet tomorrow.